What?
We should also talk to the folks about some of the negative publicity right now around the billionaire space race. Because
Oh,
I,
the egos,
yeah,
excellent.
yeah.
So let me do the introduction. George doesn't know I hit record. So welcome to the space economy, your destination for the business space. As you can see, we're in the midst of summer, as George's red face indicates. I suspect he's been out by the pool. So George, while you've been hanging poolside with the billionaires of space, what is up with their egos? Why does not Charles Branson, um, why does Branson, Musk, and Bezos, what's up with their race to space all of a sudden?
So they've all had space ambitions for the better part of a decade now. And it's really coming to a head because there was this talk about, who would be the first billionaire to go, riding on his own rockets to get to space.
So you're saying
Um,
this is just for bragging rights?
well, no, 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 no. So that's why I want to turn this, right? Because everyone is talking about how this is for bragging rights. And I think a bit of a history lesson here is important. So if we think about what happened with the transatlantic flights, so that would be Captain John Alcock and who's the guy? Whitten Brown, Arthur Whitten Brown, I believe. So they were the first ones to cross the Atlantic. It took them about 16, 18 hours. And they, some of the wonderful quotes at that time are they did it with a sexton, whiskey, and coffee. And, and they did this. And a sexton is a navigational device, by the way. And they did this in 1919. So a little bit over 100 years ago, right? And then, a few years later, of course, people are very familiar with Lindbergh's famous solo flight. Also, transatlantic flight with the Spirit of St. Louis, which you can go see at the Smithsonian. I recommend that you do. It is beautiful. But see, the point of those things is that at the time that those occurred, the majority of people didn't think air flight was safe. And we're not in any place to start considering what transatlantic flights might mean to the changing shape of our relationships with our brothers and sisters, both at the time in Europe, but of course later on in Asia, and what that would mean for changing of trade, what that would mean for economic developments, communication development. So that didn't happen though until after you had some of these first folks make transatlantic flights. Mm-hmm. So what I'd like to do is put a parallel here and say, yes, it's about billionaires and the egos, but if you look past that, we might be looking at something more akin to, a Lindbergh moment. And if that's what this ends up being, then that benefits all of us.
I like where your head is at. I like the Lindbergh moment. Because while you were talking, I was researching what is the modern day Amelia Earhart moment. Because initially it was Peggy Whitson. She was the oldest astronaut and who went to the ISS twice. She was 57 at the time. However, the one and only Wally Funk, she's 82 years young. She's going to be joining Jeff Bezos for their Blue Origin launch, which is actually launching out of West Texas. I did not know this. We'll have to come back to what's up with happening with the space economy in Texas. So someone won a $28 million charity Willy Wonka type ticket. They donated $28 million to get a seat. Wally Wonka, she was initially part of the Mercury program, and she was supposed to go into space in the 1960s. However, at the time, sexism was in full force, so she did not go into space. Now, 82 years young, she's going to get the opportunity to go into space. So there's that moment of pause that goes to that Lindbergh type moment, that's Amelia Earhart type moment, where while the billionaires there might be some bravado, Bezos is saying, not only himself, but also his brother, an octogenarian, are going to go to space. And so this is really thinking about space might be inclusive to everyone, regardless of your age. And as George can tell you, the price of launch is steadily coming down, so that there is a huge potential. Forget if it was Goldman Sachs, I believe, or Morgan Stanley, who said there's room for as many as 20 space tourism businesses. And so we're going to see the space economy grow at an exponential rate. That's what I'm super excited about. So, George, anything else before we wrap up this orbit?
No, I'm happy that I think if you combine the idea that this could be a Lindbergh moment, not just about the egos, and that this is an extension of what we see with the decreasing costs of launch, what that means for more space tourism. I think these are all really positive things for the space economy.
Awesome. Pick up a copy of Blockchain and the Space Economy, or this is actually just the space economy. We're talking about space tourism. I forget, we should do an ad or a commercial. We're nerds. Buy our book. Thank you very much for watching. See you guys in the next orbit. Peace.